All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're climbing aboard a luxury steamer sailing down the Nile, right into the heart of a murder that, on the surface, looks completely impossible. We're talking about a crime that's protected by 2 perfect alibis, a boatload of secrets, and a whole lot of misdirection. We're gonna break down how a plan for the perfect murder went so wrong and spiraled into a total bloodbath, all because of one toxic love triangle. You know, everything really starts with this one chilling line from Jacqueline de Belfort, a woman who's just been betrayed by the 2 people she loved and trusted the most. And her words, well, they aren't just her feeling sorry for herself. No, they're a warning. They're setting the stage for a story where this passionate, all-consuming love and a bitter, twisted obsession are about to become a truly deadly cocktail. So, to really get this murder, we've got to untangle the incredibly explosive relationships at the center of it all. It kicks off with this deadly love triangle, and it's fueled by passion, sure, but also by wealth and, ultimately, pure desperation. So check out how quickly this all goes south. You've got Jacqueline, everyone calls her Jackie, and Simon Doyle. They're madly in love, engaged, but they're completely broke. So Jackie goes to her super rich best friend, Lynette Ridgway, and asks for a favor. Hey, can you hire Simon? But you know what? Instead of a job, Simon gets a new wife. Just like that. And that one single act of betrayal puts all 3 of them on a collision course. Destination, a river steamer called the Karnak. Aboard the Karnak, which is this seriously luxurious ship, Lynette and Simon think they've finally shaken Jackie and her obsessive stalking. But that relief, it doesn't last long. They find out she's on board too. And not just her, the ship is packed with passengers, and it turns out a lot of them have their own grudges against the wealthy heiress. So the whole glamour of the cruise just dissolves, and you're left with this thick, simmering tension. Okay, so let's get to the night that changes everything. This is where a really public, really violent outburst ends up being the perfect cover for a very private, very cold-blooded murder. The scene is just total chaos. A hysterical Jackie confronts Simon, and right there, in front of everybody, she shoots him in the leg. She seems completely distraught, so she gets sedated and locked in her cabin with a nurse watching her all night. Meanwhile, Simon, with his bleeding leg, obviously can't move. Right there, you've got 2 seemingly unbreakable alibis. And in all the confusion, the revolver she used, it just vanishes. And then, the next morning, the big one, the central crime. Lynette is found dead, shot right through the head in her own bed. It's a murder that seems completely and utterly impossible, especially given what everyone saw happen just hours before. This is the puzzle. And this is the brilliant problem Hercule Poirot has to solve. The 2 people with the clearest motive in the world were physically incapable of doing it. So that begs the question, right? Who else on this boat would have a reason to kill her? Well, as Poirot is about to find out, the answer to that question is pretty much everyone. He realizes fast that the Karnak isn't so much a luxury cruise as it is a floating powder keg, just filled to the brim with people who either hated Lynette Ridgway or had secrets they would absolutely kill to protect. I mean, just look at this list of potential motives. You've got Lynette's American guardian, Andrew Pennington, who was stealing money from her own maid, Louise, who was in a perfect position to blackmail someone. And that's not all. You've got a kleptomaniac, a jewel thief, and even an international terrorist on board. The whole ship is just swimming in secrets and resentment. And all these other crimes happening at the same time? It creates this thick fog of confusion. You've got Poirot chasing after jewel thieves and would-be assassins, all while the real killers just sit back and watch from the sidelines, hiding behind their perfect alibis. It's truly a masterclass in misdirection. But Poirot's little gray cells, they see right through all the distractions. He gets fixated on one little detail that just doesn't sit right. On the night of the murder, somebody drugged his wine. He slept way too deeply. And that tells him this wasn't some spontaneous crime of passion. No, this was premeditated. And that changes everything. So here's the first big piece of the puzzle. That whole public argument, it wasn't a crime of passion at all. It was Act 1 in a very carefully rehearsed performance. See, Jackie was an excellent shot. She never, ever intended to actually hit Simon. The whole scene was just pure theater. And this right here is the heart of the whole deception. While everyone was rushing to deal with the hysterical Jackie, Simon was faking his injury. The blood? It was red ink. Poirot had even noticed bottles of it in Lynette's cabin earlier.
For just a few crucial minutes, Simon was totally fine, totally mobile, and completely unobserved. And in that tiny window of time, the real crime went down. Simon grabbed the revolver, sprinted to his wife's cabin, shot her while she slept, and then ran back to the lounge. Only then did he shoot himself in the leg, for real, wrapping the gun in a velvet stole he'd stolen to muffle the sound. The whole thing was Jackie's idea, a scheme to inherit Lynette's massive fortune, with Simon as her willing executioner.
You see, the plan was supposed to be for one perfect murder, but things unraveled fast. Lynette's maid, Louise, saw Simon leave the lounge and tried to blackmail them. So Jackie stabbed her with a surgical knife to shut her up. Then a romance novelist, Mrs. Otterborn, saw Jackie leaving the maid's cabin. Just as she was about to tell Poirot what she saw, Simon shot her from his sickbed with a second gun. And just like that, one murder became 3. All right, let's get to the final act. With the entire puzzle solved in his mind, Poirot confronts the killers. He's figured out their entire plan, piece by piece, but he doesn't have any real proof. Now, Poirot knows Jackie's will is made of steel, so he applies all of his psychological pressure to the weaker link in the chain, Simon. And faced with Poirot's inescapable, airtight logic, Simon just breaks. He confesses everything, laying out every single detail of Jackie's intricate, cold-blooded plan. So, the game is up, the ship is docking, and justice is literally waiting on the shore. But Jacqueline de Belfort, she has zero intention of ever seeing a courtroom or the gallows. She was the one who wrote this play, and you better believe she's gonna write the final act. And in one last, shocking move, she pulls out a second pistol that she'd kept hidden. She shoots Simon, the man she loved, killed for, and then she turns the gun on herself. She ends their deadly pact right then and there on the deck of the Karnak. So in the end, you have to ask, what's the real price of an obsession like that? Death on the Nile shows us it's just total, absolute destruction. It's more than just a clever puzzle. It's this tragic warning that even the most perfect, intricate plan can never account for the messy, unpredictable cost of human emotion, and how love